Hi lovies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roxanne Simone, your new makeup bestie. In today's video, we created a full beat with a pop of color. So without further yapping, let's hop into the video. So the face is freshly washed. I'm gonna add more moisture. So with the Danessa Myricks 1010 Barrier Boost, just to add a bit of moisture. For primer, using my favorite, it's the Danessa Yummy Skin Universal. It's a universal one. She's cute. And this, we're just going to go into our T-zones, just like so. And with every step, with the application of every step, you do want to allow the product to dry down. I want to do a little bit of color correcting. I like a full coverage beat. We don't know where we're going with this look, but I know it's going to be full coverage. The color corrector, I'm using the Kosas. It's a Kosas Revealer Extra Bright, and it's in the shade Alchemy. I always pull for her. She dries down matte. She gets the job done. I'm just going to put a little bit under my eye. It dries down quickly and it's of a matte consistency. So she gets the job done. For foundation, I'm going in with my Natasha Denona Hyglam foundation. This is in shade NP14. When I want to feel fancy or get full coverage, this is a foundation that I pull for. For drugstore, I'm not saying it compares, but this is just giving you an option. This is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is my everyday foundation, I would say. But for this, she costs a pretty penny, so I don't use her every day. So we're gonna go in with this one for the sake of the video. And how I like to apply my foundation is on a palette. So we're gonna pump. I normally do 3 pumps, and then I do have to add a 4th. So let's just do 4 pumps. And we're gonna use a flat brush to apply the product. So what I do is I just paint it on. Yeah, I'm tan, don't come for me, but when I blend it out, it will be my color. So the reason I like to apply my product, I say in every single video with a flat brush, is that it spreads it evenly and I'm not wasting product. So this is like a light layer of foundation, and I'm gonna use the same foundation just to clean up my brow. We're not penciling the brow today. I think I have a brow tutorial in previous videos. I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, just clean her up. Just like so. And blend it a little bit into your hairline because we don't want that line of demarcation. I hope that's the word. Evenly spread the product on the face. If you don't look crazy at this point, you're not doing something right. To blend the product, I'm going to go in with my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush, and I'm just going to stipple this into the face. Just like so. And don't forget that neck. This is what she looks like blended out. I know, I look like a naked mole rat. Let's fix her. So we're going to add some dimension by doing contour. This is flat. Use the Rare Beauty liquid contour, and this is in the shade Tranquil, and you want to put it almost in the hollows of your, like a little bit above the hollows of your cheeks, right there, or just like. And then we add contour where we naturally want to add dimension and depth in the face, down the bridge of the nose, because you want it to be skinny. Jawline, is this a jawline? Yes, just like so. And it's always best to start with a little, then build it up. To blend liquid contour, we want to use a dense angle brush. When I say dense, you can see. This is a fluffy brush. This is a fluffy brush. This is a dense brush. So a dense brush is packed, obviously denser. The bristles on a dense brush is normally shorter. A fluffy brush we use for powders, dense brushes we use for liquids. There's no rule to it. It's just what makes it easier for me. So when blending out your contour, we want to blend it on spot. I can't talk. Blend it on spot and slightly bring it upward. Do the jawline. Blend down the bridge of the nose. If you're just getting into makeup, I'd honestly say just try to know how to do. We've done our foundation and contour. I'm going to add some color now, and we're going to do blush. For blush, I'm going in with the PLouise The Cheek of it. It's this a very pretty pink color. So I'm just gonna tap it onto my cheek, just like so. Do not be like me. I hope this blends out how I want it to. Because I think I did go in a little bit too much. Anyways, let's blend it out and see what she's giving. So for blush, sometimes it will act as a color corrector. It's blending out okay. Don't be like me, please. For your cream products, you want to go in a stippling motion. It doesn't look bright. It looks bright on the phone, but why it looks so bright on camera? Why it looks so bright? But fret not thyself. We're just gonna buff this into the skin, just like so, and blend it out. And where any of your products meet your contour, your foundation, your blush, like the edges of it, you do want to go in with your foundation brush just to buff the edges out before you set the face. I don't know why I went on top of my lid, because I have no idea what we're doing on the lid as yet. Some people might like the concealer before the blush, and the opposite. I like the blush then the concealer. It just gives me an airbrush finish. So our blush blended out, let's go ahead and add concealer. A newfound favorite of mine in concealer, because I've tried so many, is the Chalotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Concealer. So much. I think I missed out a word, but whatever. This is the shade 9 Tan that I got, but it was a little bit too light. Not a little, a lot. So I got another shade, and this is in shade 12.5. So for me, I like to use 2 different shades of concealer, a brightening and a more concealing shade. So let's hope this one is dark enough. How I like to apply my concealer is in this motion. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So this is shade 12.5 Tan, and this is what I'm using as my concealing shade. This is perfect finally, because I always get shades that are too light. I love how creamy it is, and this is definitely full coverage. So the areas where I add my concealer obviously is to add brightening. And I like to do a little bit of reverse contour right here. As I said, this stuff is brightening. If you suffer with under eye creasing, I've said this a million times, you're blending out your concealer too quickly, or you're adding too much product. So for me, I would suggest just let it sit for a bit. You don't go ahead and try to blend everything out as soon as you put it down. Give it some time, let it marinate. I would say even a minute. If you have a hand fan, use it. But in my case, I'm doing a bunch of stuff right now, so I'm just gonna let it air dry for about a minute. Since we're waiting for the under eye concealer to dry down before we blend it out, why not clean the eyebrows? So I'm gonna go ahead and use the 2 shades the 2 concealing shades. So for me, I like to use a lighter shade on the outer portion of my brow. This just gives it a lift. So this is a flat brush. This is the Morphe M224 brush. I'm just gonna use this to clean up right under my brow. And then I'm going to go in with the shade that's closer to my skin tone to clean up the front portion. Just like so. And then you could just use any dense brush just to bring it down. And whatever product is left, I'm just going to use this almost like a base for whatever foundation, for whatever eyeshadow we're gonna lay down. We're doing something fun today. I don't know what. Just be patient. To make your life easier when doing your brows, if you don't have any, you could do microblade. I see people do microblading, and I feel like that saves a lot of time. But if you do have full brows, just get them groomed. And I'm not filling in my brows. As you can see, I have very full eyebrows. So I don't want to look like an angry bird. So I'm going to leave it as is and just blend this down onto the lid. Now we can blend out the concealer. To blend out the concealer, I'm going to use the BK Beauty A506 brush, and I'll start from the outer portion. So whenever you let your concealer sit for a bit, you're going to get more out of it. You're going to get more coverage. It's going to dry down, get more coverage. So depending on the type of concealer you use, please make sure you figure out what type it is before you go ahead and leave it to dry. Because baby, if you use one of them fast drying ones and it can't move, do not come for me. Okay? So we're just going to blend this out. Just like so. The bridge of the nose. Cupid's bow. And when blending out your concealer or any cream product for that matter, you don't want to swipe because we're not trying to disrupt all the products that you've layered. You just want to take your time and stipple it into place. So for your concealer, just follow the motion that I'm showing you. You tap and you slightly feather it outwards. I have to keep checking if my mic's working. You just buff it into the skin. The chin. And again, for your concealer, you want to blend it on the spot that you placed it, because we're not trying to spread it on the entire face. With all your products, every product has a place. We're not creating mud. And we just want to go ahead again and use that foundation brush. There's barely any product on it, but we want to diffuse the edges, because if we should leave this just the way it is, we're going to be setting that line and you're going to be looking crazy. It's not going to miraculously disappear. Just like this. And for my bright under eye girlies, this part's for you. You could have skipped this part, but me, I love the bright under eye. So to blend out the inner portion, to blend out the bright concealer, we want to start from the edge of it and slightly work our way in. So we're not spreading the product. We aren't spreading it. We're just buffing on spot. And because we allow this product to sit for a bit, we're going to get the best payoff, best coverage, and we're going to minimize creasing. I want you guys to remember that creases are normal. If you want them gone, do plastic surgery. I'm not promoting plastic surgery, but that's the only way it's going to go away. Or people who use filters. I don't use filters. Not that I've never used it, but I want you to know that texture is normal. I got texture, I got pores, I got blemishes. And we wear makeup to feel beautiful. We wear makeup to minimize those imperfections that we're annoyed about. We really don't need to care, but we do this for ourselves. So men, we don't do makeup for you. We do it for ourselves. This is a blended under eye. And let's do the other eye and then we'll be right back. So we've applied all our cream products. The next step is to have it set. If we don't set this, I remember back in the day when I say back in the day, I feel old, but I remember way back, people never used to set makeup. You put your cream, not even concealer, you put your foundation on, you raw dog, and you go out into the world. And by the end of the night, you're greasy as hell. But now we set our face so we can have longevity of the makeup. To set my under eyes, so we have everything set. And again, a step you should never ever want to miss. After you've placed all your cream products down, you want to go in with your foundation brush just to blend all those edges together, because baby, we're not trying to set no harsh lines. Whenever I set my face, all I use is the Laura Mercier. Today we're using something different. I have a bunch of powders, so I need to use them because they do have expiration dates, if you didn't know. This is the Huda Beauty Banana Bread Easy Bake. I'm using a powder puff, and what we're going to do is dip into it. We're not going to use all of this. Scrape off the excess. And I don't bake. Even though I have oily to combination skin, some parts tend to be dry, like my under eyes would be on the drier side. So before you set that under eye, you want to go in with your concealer brush just to buff any crease that you have there, and then we're going to go directly in. When you're trying to be cute and this is a face you have to make, and then we're going to set the under eye. I forget how beautiful this powder was, because baby, look at that. And yes, one thing I will say about the Huda Beauty setting powder or the Huda Beauty Easy Bake is that it does provide a bit of coverage. The Laura Mercier is on the lighter side, so if you're wearing more of a light beat, even though I use it for my full coverage, it's just that the powder is not as, I don't want to say heavy, but the Easy Bake gives more coverage. I want to make sure that I ain't setting no crease. And the reason we set our faces like this is to stretch the under eye. And then I'm gonna use let's do the forehead. So we use the light color in all the places that we put concealer. So for me, my forehead, well, in the middle of my forehead, under my eyes, and down the bridge of my nose. We're just setting it because what we're gonna do now is figure out the eye look. Reverse contour, I wanna add a little bit, so I'm not baking. Really, I'm not baking, I'm just lightly setting everywhere where I put. But yeah, this powder is reminding me how much I really like it. This is what we came up with. I pulled this from the back of my head because I wanted to do something blue. This is not blue, this is more turquoise, but I was inspired by this liner that I recently purchased. I'm just going to prep my eyes with my PLouise base. My PLouise Rumor base, and this is in shade 4. So I just put a little on a palette, and then I just take a dense brush or a concealer brush and just apply it onto my lid. It doesn't have to be a lot. The PLouise base is perfect for applying eyeshadow because you don't have to set it. You can go directly on top of it. Even if it creases a bit, it doesn't set until you set it. And what I use to set it is the eyeshadow, the dense eyeshadow brush. And I'm dipping it in. I'm using the Believe Beauty. Is it Believe? The Wild Side palette. This is the palette, and these are the shades that we're using. We have Atlantis right here, and then we have Misbehave and Marigold. I mixed those 2 shades. So we're just going to outline. It's like a cut crease. And I know this is a lot, but I don't know why I decided to do a cut crease. When doing cut creases, so I'm just stamping the shape on. I can't talk when I'm doing this, but I have hooded lids. So how I do this is go direct. Do you see where this crease is right in my eye? If I should do the cut crease right here, you're barely gonna see it when my eye is open. So I go slightly above that crease. Not all the way up to my brow line because we're not trying to look clownish. Sorry if that's what you're going for. And I'm going to stamp it on. Sorry, I can't talk through this. So I'm trying to make it as even as possible with the next eye. And as you can tell, I'm just stamping it in. If you stamp shadows in, you're going to get the most pigment. Feel like that's even? It should be. And then I always struggle with the end portion. It doesn't need to be perfect. Well, to an extent. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Then I'm going to use a fluffy brush to buff the edges out. Sorry, there's one more color. This turquoise color is called Grand Ant. I can't pronounce these words. So I'm just using a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to slightly blend the outer end out. I'm going to slightly blend the line out. You want to diffuse. Yes, I'm going to lightly diffuse the end of these colors. So I'm using a lighter color just to diffuse it. This is almost like aquamarine, turquoise. Baby, I don't know. So I'm just slightly blending and diffusing the edges of this color. Just like so. Light hands. And so once we have the edges blended out, I will go in again with the darker shade just to add some more depth to the first shade. It doesn't need to be bright, but I just, as I said, eyeshadow is really blending. It's blending. You have to blend, and when you think you're done blending, you add some more and then you blend. And I'm just diffusing the edges of this color. Whenever, oh, I need to add some to the bottom portion. So I'm joining. So again, I'm just stamping, just like that. Is it even? I hope it is. Okay, so we're gonna cut the crease, and how I like to cut my crease is using micellar water. So I'm gonna use micellar water, and you call this a Q-tip. It's like a pointed end Q-tip. This, now I can't talk. You just have to watch it. So steady hands, and I'm going to follow the line. And use the other end just to wipe it up. See? That's a clean cut. So I've cut the crease. And I just added a little bit of, what do you call it? Eyeshadow base. I use the PLouise, the Rumor base, and this is in shade 4. Now that I've put the concealer down, I'm gonna go directly on top of it with my desired color. In this case, I'm using these 2 yellow shades. I'm gonna go down with this one first. That's what I did. I didn't have to. I could have just gone in with a marigold, but I don't want it to look too different. And then I'm using a packing brush. So we're not gonna blend the color in. We're literally gonna pack the color on. So because I have makeup on, you want to dab off any excess or fly away, because I don't want it to fall on the foundation or the base work that I have on my face already. So just shake off the excess. Just like this. And then I'm going to go on top of this with the deeper yellow shade. I guess adding both these 2 colors, the 2 yellow shades, gives me more pigment, and that's fine. And we're just going to pack it on. How do we like the new setup? I know I continuously change setups. I was evicted from my bedroom. I wasn't. I just needed to come back to my studio. But I've been so busy, and to set up and pull down is a lot of work. I got a little bit of free time, so we're trying to do a little content. For the outer eye, I'm going to go in with a dense brush, and I'm going to just dip it into Atlantis, this color right here. Buff off the excess, dust off the excess. I'm just going to stamp it in. Just like this. I'm gonna slightly, I don't know if I blended this side. I'm gonna slightly diffuse the colors together. And I wanna add a little bit more yellow on the inner eye with this one. Just like that. And for the brow bone, I'm gonna go in again, pack the yellow on. Just for the brow bone. This is the eye look we came up with. We need to add color to the face because we did set and we haven't bronzed or blushed as yet. One of my favorite bronzers to use is the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalker, and this is in Mocha Mommy. I know a lot of y'all love to tussle, but I like her. She never fails me. I'm using a BK Beauty A507 brush, and I'm going to just stipple it. So wherever I had my contour or bronze cream product down, I'm just going to use this to add some color. So as you can see, we just need to add a little bit of color. And we just press this right where. So we're just bronzing. We're just bronzing up the face, because when you put all the setting powder down, you kind of look flat. So I'm just adding some color back to my face. Yes, see, like. And also down the bridge of the nose, just to bronze it up a little bit. Maybe that was too much. Powdered blush. Let's decide between these two. The Juvia's Place blush and bronze blurring palette. I feel like I want to use the volume 2 or volume 1. Let's use volume 2. I'm going to use an angled blush brush. Let's start with a lighter pink shade first. I'm going to use this one right here, and dust off the excess. And I'm just going to start almost on the apples of my cheek and work my way up. And then we're going to use the deeper shade. Do I have blush blindness? Yeah, a little. Do I care? Nope. Just like so. And I just like to diffuse everything together, so I bring it up almost into my hairline. Why is this eye lazy? I do love a bright under eye, so even though everything is already set, I'm gonna use this Huda Beauty pressed powder, if she'll open. She's white, but she's translucent. I'm gonna use a powder puff. And then, did that brighten? Yeah. She given filter. She is giving filter. And I feel like that's good. Now I'm gonna melt all this because this says powdery. I rave about this setting spray all the time. It's the Milani Make It Last, the original one. It's a natural finish. It says up to 24-hour wear, but this is what I like to use to set my face. So we're gonna drench her. She has a fresh smell. Lining my lips with the Juvia's Place. When I talk this.
How long till I catch my breath? And I feel so helpless. And I feel so small. But I feel so blessed.
Hi lovies, I hope you made it to the end of the video. Hopefully it was not chaotic. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them down below. Before you leave, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so you know whenever I upload a future video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.